Hey everybody, Aric for President here. I thought today we'd bring up VR multiplayer gaming. The most of the time that I play VR games is in a multiplayer setting, but multiplayer VR games are scary to join, especially if this is your first one. It's scary to join if it's a game that's been out for quite a while and you've never played it before, because sometimes people can just be assholes and trolls. It's just a fact. But here are some tips and tricks that I have personally used that have made my multiplayer VR gaming, I think, a lot better, a lot friendlier, and a lot more fun. They may not help you, but I would advise to at least try them, especially if you've always wanted to jump into a multiplayer VR game but just felt hesitant for any reason. And speaking of wanting to help people get into multiplayer VR, join me on Twitch. I am going to be streaming Population 1 regularly, and this is a great opportunity to have a third on that maybe hasn't played much or is new to multiplayer VR, where we can help you have fun, learn the game, and just have a good time. Check me out. But that brings us to the first tip. Now, the social contract, this is before you even jump into the game. It's a mindset that I have brought that I think makes my experiences better. I am overly competitive, but I can't bring that overly competitiveness to every multiplayer VR game because not everyone's like me. And very similar to the social contract we have when, say, going to a house party pre-COVID, I can't go to the party and expect everyone to cater to my personality. We all have our unique personalities, we all bring different things to the table, and just like at a party, I spend the beginning meeting, greeting, talking, figuring people out. That way we can eventually come out of our shell and be who we are, but there's that social contract that I think applies the same to a multiplayer VR lobby. Some people just want to have fun, they want to get drunk and get into VR, have a good time. Other people are tryhards and they want to win every match. But if you go into a team-based game with randoms and expect everyone to cater to your personal style, you're probably bound for a bad time and your teammates are bound for a bad time. So remember that before you even jump into a multiplayer game, there's a social contract. If you're playing with randoms, you need to be open to learning about them, communicating, and adjusting your playstyle a little bit. The last tip before actually jumping into the game is check out the community hubs. A lot of times people, when they get a multiplayer VR game for the first time, they jump into a random squad or random team. And while you have the potential to have an amazing, great time, you have equally or more % of a chance to have a bad time with whether they're screamers, whether they're just trolls. Some people just don't want to be friendly. So instead of playing with complete randoms the first time you jump in, I would encourage you, depending on the game, go find one of the community hubs. Whether it's the VRML Discord page, the game-specific Discord page, you'll find that people in those community hubs are really wanting to see more people have fun with that game, to just encourage people to learn. And if you tell them, hey, I'm new, I'm looking for a squad that teach me the ropes, I guarantee you people will jump at that opportunity, will introduce you to the game, and you're overall going to have a much better experience. So please, if you had a bad experience already on one VR game or are actively looking into a new multiplayer VR game, go check out the community hubs before playing, find a squad, that way your introduction or continued play of the game can be very fun. This should go without saying, but especially men who don't like to ask for directions, don't like to read directions, we just like to jump in and figure it out. Yes, that can work, but more than likely it won't. I highly encourage, please, if there is a tutorial or anything you can do before jumping into a public lobby to familiarize yourself with the mechanics, with the combat, with anything, please do. Because when jumping into a game, if you need help, I find that many existing players who are going to help you. But they're only going to help people who are willing to help themselves at the same time. And if you're unwilling to help yourself and go through any bit of the tutorial or try to figure out any of the in-game mechanics before you jump into a public lobby, people may be less likely to help. So help yourself first, because if you help yourself, people are more than likely willing to help you out in return. I think there is a common misconception for new players the first time they join the lobby that they don't want to cause a scene, they don't want to cause a problem, they just are a little nervous to talk. And I say, just say hi to us. Let us know vocally that it's your first time playing, because whether you believe it or not, the tryhards who play these multiplayer VR games over and over and again every single day like myself, we're not playing just to win, we're playing because it's fun, and we're excited that every time we feel like jumping into a public lobby, that there's people wanting to play. But that availability of a player base is only there when new people keep playing, existing users feel encouraged to keep getting better and keep playing, and we ultimately have to grow the community. So let us know you're new, because honestly, our future fun depends on your current fun, and I have no problem stopping my day to show someone the ropes who's actively telling me they're new, they want to learn, because ultimately down the road, you may be one of the squad mates I go to every day. It's a lot of fun to teach y'all, so please, just let us know you're new. If you do that in a multiplayer game, trust me, you're going to find some good people. But once you find those people, once you get in game, even if you say you're new, what helps? You have to communicate. And communication can go in a lot of different ways, because just like everyone else, some people like to talk, some people don't like to talk, and you got to remember, playing VR, someone may not be speaking your language who you join a lobby with. That's perfectly fine. But in any sense of the way that you can find a way to communicate, whether that's the way the game provides you the tools, such as Population 1, setting markers down on the map when you find things, enemies, items, that's a great way to communicate without vocalizing it. Whether that's waving and maybe making arm gestures, signifying that, hey, I can't speak your language, or I can't speak, but I want to indicate something's going on. You'll find that even if you are not talking, even if you can't fully communicate what you want to, just by doing that, your fellow teammates are going to be encouraged. They're going to find that, hey, this guy wants to try to play, and we'll find ways to communicate around that. So please find your way that's best to communicate, but don't just go do your thing. If you're playing multiplayer VR, it is likely a team-based game, so act like a teammate in the best way you can. You don't need to be perfect, but you need to try. Now, the more you play, the more you're going to start seeing the same names over and over and over again, because while VR is a niche and growing gaming platform, it's still niche and very small. And you take that small group and you split them up among the many multiplayer titles, you're going to realize that you have less people in a game than you expect, and seeing those same people over and over again will happen. So if you're in lobbies where you see people that you've seen over and over, say hi to them, make friends with them, add them to your list, because ultimately these people are going to be the cornerstones of your experience a lot of times. And I have found that where in the past it was hard to find lobbies in some games, the more I played and started seeing names, it was almost like catching up with a long lost friend when I saw them. It's really fun, and I highly encourage, please make friends. At the end of the day, this is very cliche, but it is about having fun. So please use the tools that find your fun. Don't stick around in a lobby that's making you unhappy, whether that's someone screaming at you, being a jerk, being a troll, not communicating. Go find a different lobby. Use the mute button as well. The mute button is there to use, and I encourage it. It's no different than unfollowing someone on Twitter or muting someone on Twitter. If you have the tools to curate your experience using your valuable time, curate your experience the best way you can, whether that's defriending people, muting people, or leaving those lobbies, because chances are, whatever's making you angry in that lobby, there's probably someone else in a different lobby who's having that same bad experience, who's looking for a player just like you to squad up with. So keep trying, find that core group, and just have a good time. I know this video, I feel like it's kind of like no duh. A lot of these tips, they should be self-explanatory, but I think there's that stigma that there are more trolls out there than good people in these games, and I have found the complete opposite of that. If you expect the worst out of people, you'll see the worst. But if you expect the best out of people, you'll tend to see the better. And over time, if you follow the tips and tricks that I've given you here and find the own ones that work for you, these are just my tips, they're not all of them, I feel like you're going to have a good multiplayer VR just experience. And I really hope that someone who has been staying away from a multiplayer VR game they wanted, or had one that they had a bad experience on and or haven't gone in since, hope they reevaluate that. Try some of these things, because in my mind, virtual reality is an extension of my reality, and in my personal reality, I don't like being alone. I like being with people. I love a multiplayer game, and that's why I spend about 99% of my time in those. If you found this video useful and enjoyed it though, please leave a like. Make sure to subscribe, hit that bell icon, that way you never miss an upload. And as always guys, I'm Aric for President, and I'll see you next time, Space Cowboys.